Okay, I guess we're not doing the intro music.
Yay! Yay! Music! Yay!
That's also
Woo!
Mike Gandolfo, Louis Rabeau. This is the Horse Racing Happy Hour.
Let's go.
We're on the screen and porch, and we're not smoking cigars.
I am not smoking a cigar tonight. How about that?
Why is that?
I'm going to have 40 in New Jersey in the next 3 days.
40.
I'm going to do the Fidel Castro thing.
Okay.
Take over New Jersey, socialize it, smoke a bunch of cigars, do the thing. You know how it goes.
Okay.
Yeah. How about that?
40.
Yeah.
I will be smoking cigars in the morning, so I think
how about that?
I'm passing tonight.
You golfing? What are you doing?
No, just like I think you knew I have that one group of guys that
I've been to it.
Super nice, and we.
I went once, didn't get invited back. There's a reason.
You're always invited. Once you're there, you just you sit around. We sit around, drink coffee, smoke cigars before the workday.
I think the coffee cigar top 2 or 3 cigar of cigars.
Oh yeah.
If you talk beers like shower beer, airport beer, like thinking about, the post yard work beer, the best beers. I think of the cigars. The morning one's way underrated.
It's very underrated, especially like how well tobacco usually pairs with cigars.
With coffee.
Coffee.
Yeah. No, I get it. Yep.
And you can get into that, and I'm gonna be late though. You know why I'm gonna be late? Because I gotta babysit Sean Collins and get his technology all set up, ready to go.
I also blame Sean Collins for
Yes.
being late to something.
But it'll be all right. No, Sean and I are gonna make sure that we know how to get all these live streams set up so that you guys have an awesome trip to Monmouth this weekend.
Yeah.
You gotta be excited, right?
I'm very excited getting on a plane. I'll be, somewhere in New Jersey at this point tomorrow, but getting on a plane tomorrow morning to head to Newark, America's finest airport. You understand me? A little EWR on a Friday. I actually like Newark. I've never rented a car there, so we'll find out about that. But
Make sure you
we'll
get
have
the
a
thing
lot of fun.
that pays for the tolls, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah. So we're not live on Twitter tonight. Are we not doing that?
We should be live on Twitter.
How about that?
Why are we not live on Twitter?
I don't know.
Let me.
Okay, I want to be
Why
clear.
nobody was watching. How about that?
I want to be clear why I paused in the beginning. It was because I got a message that said you can't go on live on Twitter unless you're a premium account holder anymore. And I was like, I paused and was like, wait, what just happened? And so there you go. That's why I paused and I freaked out.
We got a new show expense, I guess. We're gonna have to go because we have to be live on Twitter. But you can check us out right now on the YouTube feed as well if you want to go to our YouTube channel. That's gonna have to be corrected by tomorrow, right? So,
that'll be something I'll have to spend tonight. Yeah, how about
that's
that?
okay. We'll repost this.
How
or
are people
else.
watching, man? I saw 3 people watching just a second ago.
Well,
so
I am streaming to my personal Facebook page.
Okay.
Yeah, which helps.
Very much does. How about that?
Yeah, I got 40.
We're doing this show for somebody, and frankly, if you're watching later on Spotify, we appreciate you as well.
Yeah.
YouTube, baby. We got YouTube.
We got YouTube. The YouTube's important. You gotta go YouTube. But yeah, you will be out at Monmouth.
Yeah.
First trip to a track.
Both the Haskell and the Monmouth. How about the Haskell and Monmouth? Blah blah blah. Easy for me to say.
Yeah.
How about that? Well,
So-
Jersey Shore this weekend.
I need to know though.
Staying at a roadside inn
Are you really?
on purpose.
No, you're not.
Yeah, I enjoy a roadside inn.
Okay.
It's very close to the shore. I wanted to be able to walk to the ocean and be able to afford it, so we're doing that. Yeah, how about that?
Okay. All right.
Why would I not do that?
You and Sean together, or you just by yourself, or what?
I'm meeting someone else.
Oh.
My wife doesn't know, so I'm not going to talk about it. All of that is completely made up. No, I'm a dad of 4 kids. So when I can get a hotel room by myself, I take it. That is how that goes. I know Zach is somewhere nodding furiously right now as a dad and a husband of 3 children.
Well, there's also something that's going to be very true.
Something nice of 6 hours of uninterrupted
It's
sleep.
very hard to be a
Is it
worse
hard?
hotel room than what we had in Baltimore, 2 years ago. So
I just can't pick them, man. I'll tell you what. Oh, you know what? We had a nice hotel in Indianapolis this last time in Shelbyville.
okay.
Comfort Inn, shout out. If you wanted to throw us a free room next year, we'd appreciate it.
Okay. So
Even at a pool. How about that?
what are you most looking forward to when you go to Monmouth?
I just think just the scene, man. Like the paddock looks beautiful, just that sort of beachy feel to the place. I'm just excited. I love that kind of stuff. The big day, I was lucky. I got to talk to Grant Forster a couple Wednesdays ago. Actually just last 2 weeks ago. And he talks about being part of the biggest day at a track. His horse won the Oaks when we were up there in Indiana, and just getting to be part of a track's biggest day. And I'll be really honest. The thing I'm most looking forward to, I get to meet Matt Dinnerman, and he has been so good to this show. He's been so good to us. I think he's terrific for horse racing, and get to drop off a rubber duck in the old.
Now you're going to be doing the show before they start racing, right?
Show at 11. Races start at noon.
All right, and they've got a table all set up for
Tom's got us good.
All right, you're all set
Tom,
up there.
shout out.
Good deal.
Go.
I'm not going. Just so if you have picked up on that, that's okay though. I got to take care of some things.
You were fully invited.
Oh yeah, no doubt.
It is fully funded for you to go.
No,
this is a personal thing that you have to stay here. We need to make that clear, apparently,
and that's okay. But I was more talking about. You're gonna see Idiomatic in the Molly Pitcher.
That doesn't suck.
You're gonna. I know you love the United Nations race.
One of my very favorites on the card. I got a text today from a listener that our guy Mike Mills that I was going to be on, so I'm very excited about that for sure.
And of course, the main event's the Haskell, which who knows if there's going to be 6 horses, 7 horses, 8 horses. I know that's part of the storyline right now. Who's going to run,
or if there's a future superstar in that race,
and there could be.
Right, I mean, that's the other part. You're right about that.
When we saw Mindframe run
Derby Week,
Derby Week, we're like, that might be the best.
That might be it.
That we've seen.
That might be it.
And,
it might be the best in the.
And he, didn't win the Belmont, but
should have.
He was right there.
I think if it's his 4th race and not his 3rd, he wins the Belmont.
Yeah, he
I think we're at that point with him for sure. Yeah.
You know who else we need to figure out? Well, let's get the opinion of one. Just strikingly handsome gentleman, the most handsome guy in New Jersey. Is he in New Jersey?
I think he's in New York. He's in New Jersey. How about that? Yeah. Hey, all right.
Johnny P.
What's Johnny P?
John Piazzik joining us.
Has anyone else ever called you Johnny P, or are we that weird show?
Oh, all the time.
Oh, good. Okay,
I was called either Johnny P or Pias by everybody. So one of those two is good.
I'm not going to lie. I like Pias a lot.
All right. Now, I got to know, we're back. We're still on haircut watch.
Looks trimmed up to me.
It looks maybe a little trimmed up.
Looks trimmed up to me.
It's not Catholic high school approved for sure. So I kind of need to know, what's the game plan? What's the game plan with the hair?
He looks great.
Thank you. I think right about just this length is good. Maybe in a few weeks, maybe get it cleaned up, because it would be nice if you could freeze hair at a certain point forever and not have to worry about it getting any longer, not having to do anything with it. Like right now, this is a pretty good spot to be in, I think, for me. So
there you go.
So Sean Collins with Blood Horse is going to be doing the show with Louie and Monmouth, and I'll be doing on the show too, but I'm going to be in Louisville. Sean driving up right now so he can make it to the Yankees game. Are you?
How about that?
Joining him in New York for the Yankees.
Yankee game Friday night, Haskell Saturday. Solid doubleheader.
I mean, that's a nice weekend. That is a nice weekend.
That's right. Johnny P would be all about that weekend.
All about it.
Yeah, all about it. How did you feel like your Yankees did in the All-Star game?
Well, I had to work the other night because, duty calls at Yonkers Raceway. So I watched really only one pitch of the game, and that was when Paul Skeens got Aaron Judge to ground out. I know a lot of my Yankee fan friends are in DEFCON 5 right now, and I really don't blame them. My hope is just to kind of, my expectations right now are just they'll stumble into the playoffs, win about 93, 94 games, stumble in, and get bounced. And the hard part is now that I'm no longer in Maryland, A, that I'm no longer in Maryland, and B, that the O's and the Yankees are now in direct competition with each other, I can no longer cheer for the O's even out of any sense of civic duty or, because they're a fun team to watch. I have to go against them 100%. And I watched Sunday's game as it happened. I don't know if you heard what happened on Sunday with the O's and the Yankees, but it was a very painful experience. For anyone who may not be aware, the Yankees had the lead up by 2 going into the bottom of the 9th. It was bases loaded, 2 outs, Yankees up by 2. And the O's hit a ground ball to shortstop. Anthony Volpe booted it. Everybody's safe. Nesbatter hits a fly ball to left. Alex Verdugo takes 2 steps in the wrong way, and then he tries to go back, and he falls down, and the ball drops in, and the O's win.
I saw that movie. It's called The Bad News Bears. You saw that movie?
Yeah.
I've seen it. Yeah, I've seen it.
Based on a true story.
Based on a true story. Is it time to get rid of Aaron Boone?
Is Aaron Boone a bum?
Yes, he's been a bum for a while.
900 happy hour.
Well, it's the whole. Everybody in the organization, there's just a culture of not even mediocrity, of just not caring, because they figure out, as long as they're okay, people are going to show up and buy a big chicken buckets and watch the team. So if make money, there's no incentive to really push them over from just being good.
That was always my argument about the Cubs. Like, the Cubs should have never wanted to win that World Series. They could have been like, this could be the year, and everyone's there just drinking beer and having a good time, and they don't really care.
Ozzie Guillen, greatest quote in baseball history: Wrigley Field is a crappy bar with an $80 cover charge.
That's right. I mean, that's it. But once they won it, then they actually have expectations.
Yeah, no, that's right.
Like,
No, it's terrible. It's horrible. Yeah.
So
Wrigley Field is a crappy bar with an $80 cover charge. As someone who's lived in Chicago for almost their whole life.
It's one of the great baseball quotes ever. Ozzie Guillen never been more right. That guy's had, I don't know, 100 great quotes. So
there are 13 bars.
Manager, he's just out of his mind.
There are 13 bars across the street that are better post game.
Well, Scott's house, Runner Scott from Indiana Grant.
There you go. Yeah. It'd be interesting to me to see if they do get rid of Aaron Boone, how quickly the Reds get rid of David Bell and try to pick up Aaron Boone.
Yeah, right. See if he'd like to live in the Midwest.
He has been there for a long time as far as Yankee years go. So, I don't know.
It's like coaching Kentucky, right? Where it's essentially a season and a half every season, right? I mean, no, it's a lot. It is. I agree.
Well, no, I was going to say, but no, because I know back in the day, the Yankees had a rep for firing managers all the time, but now they've only had 3 in my lifetime. It was Joe Torre, then Joe Girardi, now Aaron Boone. So that's 3 in 28 and a half years.
Got to hang out. We got to see Joe Girardi a lot while playing. His daughter was a basketball player.
How about that?
He was.
Oh, no kidding.
Massive asshole. So there you go. No, he just wanted to be left alone.
Well, I don't know why you talk about his daughter that way, but hey, here we go.
I'm sure he's a good guy. He's
a weird thing to say about a young girl.
No, it wasn't. She was fine.
How fine was she?
Yeah. I mean, not like that.
Anyway. God, I love John's got great hair, and look at these. Look at the window treatment. I'm just, man, everything's coming up, Yas.
You got those for Saratoga.
Speaking of Saratoga, what a tease by you. What a tease. We're going to show the Diana. We're going to do that.
We can show the Diana stakes.
Should we show the Diana? The world's.
We want to talk a little about Carl Spackler.
The most boring turf race ever. Was this not the Diana? Was it not just the most boring merry-go-round of a turf race, man? My God.
Goes wire to wire.
Yeah, Flavia Pratt doing the thing.
Flavia Pratt doing his deal.
Yeah, that's what he does.
Let's go ahead, Zach. Let's see a little bit of that white beam winning the Diana.
It's the one in the front.
Is stepping off the pace. Chili flag in the yellow will come widest of all as the field turns from
we're looking at this right now.
Digging in, Gina Romantica,
I really did think Gina Romantica was going to get there, but at this point, I thought she was going to make a run.
Going. Gina
Romantica, though, kind of falling back and coming back up.
And White Beam looking
you
for
had
a
that at
repeat.
15-1. I mean,
all the way in the Diana. Tight photo for
second.
Still
paid $7.10 to place, right?
No, that's right.
If you picked that trifecta for $194 on,
does anyone love second place more than Moira? I mean, anyone?
No.
There's a stunning number of second places out of that horse, not completely independent of the level she's running at and all those kinds of things.
Gina Romantica, $8 to show. I forgot that Moira got that
$8 to show still.
$8 a show.
I mean, you made money across the board if you bet that horse.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which we gave out in our top 3 last week on the show.
Yeah, should have. Hopefully you bet it.
Yeah.
And and maybe you got that.
Our top picks went 4th, 1st, 3rd in that race. So there you go.
Yeah, there you go.
Not the worst. Yeah.
What did you think though about Carl Spackler and the Kelso? I mean,
that was a more fun race, less horses.
Well, yeah. I think is he establishing himself as in that?
I think he's a 2nd tier Chad level runner.
Okay.
Yeah, he's not a bricks and mortar, that kind of thing. I think he's a 2nd level kind of guy. What do you think of Carl Spackler, John?
I mean, I remember back when he was a 3-year-old, he was being touted as like a next big superstar grass horse. After he broke his maiden at, I believe it was Gulfstream Park on some big undercut, he won very easily, and everyone got excited about him. Thought he ran very well. In the Kelso, he's still young enough that I think he has a shot to win some big races down the road, and I'm not sure we've even seen his best yet. I mean, so I think he will stick at shorter distances. Think it's pretty likely we see him in the 4-star Dave, and then possibly at Kentucky Downs. Would not surprise me if he won either one of those races.
Yeah, I agree.
So there you go. Just definitely a horse to watch to kind of see what what he does. Maybe he is just a grade 3 horse, and he picks up a couple grade 3s, grade 2 every once in a while.
But like John says,
Really
I mean, frankly, with that Kentucky Downs meet when it is in the calendar, it does allow a lot of those Saratoga level turf runners to make that trip and chase. I mean, what do they have? $7 million races the first week?
It's crazy.
They have like $2 million races the first day, something like that. By the way, we're gonna have a ton of coverage of Kentucky Downs this year. But I think it sets up for a horse. I agree with John there. A horse like Carl Speckler, if he doesn't mind those undulations, he could be real tough in a place. Like
Undulations,
a little undulation talk on Thursday. Why not?
There you go.
Hey, Aaron Boone, stop with the undulations. just up, down is bad. How about that?
We're gonna go out to Colonial.
How about that?
All right, and we're gonna watch.
Say hi to Caitlin Free.
Now, this, as boring as the Elwyn race was, Nadette is shot out of cannon.
She looks great this race. Yeah,
this is definitely a stretch run to remember. Let's watch the Beverly D Preview Stakes that was won by Nadette right here.
A big, quick turn of foot without even really being asked. Nadette just swooped to the front. Hector Barrios, very still in the saddle now, gives a little bit of a cue. They're 2.5 in front of Canisi and Blissful. Nadette with a quick burst of speed at the top of the stretch. And Nadette going to pull clear late. Hector Barrios and Nadette.
Running.
Nice win. Come out east and they win it by 4 against the
speed,
preview.
what do we got going
Canisi
on
was second.
No, this is a Twin
favorite.
Spires.
I know.
Twin Spires Arabia.
Sure. I'm just wondering why we didn't go full screen. I'm just giving Zach a hard time.
Arabia.
He didn't go to your spot on the
Do you know Al Arabia means both Arabic and car? How about that?
There you go.
Yeah, a little bit.
All right.
A linguistics lesson on Thursday. You like that?
Sure.
How about that?
All right. What's the future for Nadette? The Beverly D.
I think she'll run on the Beverly D for sure. I thought what she showed is that this was a total workout ahead of the Beverly D. And if she needs to do more work, she could. And I applaud Hector Barrios for not. I mean, he didn't need the crop, didn't touch it, literally shook the rein once. That was super impressive. I thought the move was just exactly what you would want to see from a horse like this, John. And I would not be surprised. I don't think she's a winner of the Beverly D, but I think she's going to be certainly part of the equation at the end.
I mean, I think all 3 stakes winners last Saturday at Colonial are going to be factors in a few weeks because Maryland bred Formanale won the Boston Stakes, his second straight stakes win. Looks pretty sharp doing so. I think he'll be a factor in the Secretariat, hopefully at good odds. And then Integration, even though he only beat 2 of the horses, he did what he had to do in a Million Preview. He's already won a big race on this grass course. Would not shock me at all if he also won the Arlington Million.
Well, there you go. You got to stay tuned for some Arlington Million, see what's going on there. Like we said, Louis is going to be on a plane tomorrow heading out to Monmouth. He's going to be joined by Sean Collins. They're going to watch the Haskell. We're flying right into 3-year-old summer season. Obviously, kind of had you had the Midwest Derbies kind of going on. In the meantime, we still have the Ohio Derby and the Pennsylvania Derby to go. But
Ohio Derby's done.
I'm sorry, not the Ohio Derby.
We got the Pennsylvania Derby. Got the you're thinking of the Travers.
Yep. Well, I know the Travers, but yeah, the
Charlestown.
But we got the first race that draws some really big names, right? So the Haskell. We look at this 3-year-old class, Louis.
Yep.
And it's wide open. We have 3 different winners of
and we've been doing this show 5 years. This is the weirdest 3-year-old class I can remember. It's very unusual. It doesn't, no one, I mean, the best horse might not have won any of the major races yet in Sierra Leone. I mean, that's kind of where we're at with this class.
So if you had to rank them, I'll go John. We could do this draft style. Let's do a draft style.
Okay.
Just to kind of keep it fun. Let's just go. Let's pick the top 6, and we'll all take a pick.
Yep.
The top 6 3-year-olds that we that are going on right now. So if you had a bet right now on who is going to be 3-year-old horse of the year.
Okay, there you go.
John, who would be your first pick? 3-year-old.
I'm going pretty off the board, and I'll say Forever Young. And I wonder if his connections are kicking themselves for not keeping him in the U.S. over the summer, because based on how he ran both in the UAE Derby and in the Kentucky Derby, I feel like he would have the absolute run of these 3-year-old summer stakes. And I know they're saving it up for the Breeders' Cup Classic. However, I think he's pretty clearly the best 3-year-old in this division. And it would not shock me if he won a Classic as much the best.
Are you okay if I go next?
Yes.
Because I'm going to go off the board then. If he's going to go that route, I'm going to go the horse that I think is going to win the Breeders' Cup Classic in City of Troy.
I like it.
Yeah, because and by the way, he's just going to come over and dominate so much, and the other 3-year-olds are just going to be kind of all spread out. They're going to be like, that's the best 3-year-old we saw race in North America this year, City of Troy.
Okay, so I have to choose the winner, and I get to choose pretty much every horse that I want. So the 3-year-old of the year, I'll go Mind Frame. I think there's a very good chance he wins the Haskell, and I think there's an excellent chance he bounces back and runs really well in the Travers.
All right, I love it, because we said it. We watched that race and we're like, Mind Frame.
It's not what I'm rooting for,
no,
but I think he's got a really excellent chance to be very good on Saturday and then be very, very good and ready for the Travers.
Okay, so now second round here.
By the way, Mystic Dan, Seize the Gray, Dornock, all available, all of one classic races this year, John.
Now, without spoiling who I want to pick, are we allowed to pick girls or only boys?
Oh, sure. You want Torpedo and a Tiger?
I'm taking her. No question. In fact, I think based on how impressive she is on Saturday, if she goes for the Travers, she could be the favorite.
That'd be so cool. I hope it happens. I hope John's right. That might be the wrinkle I'm hoping for this year with this 3-year-old class. Is that Torpedo really Anna for 5 Gs at a breeding price is just an absolute monster. And look, we talked to Brad Cox a couple weeks ago, and he said she's the best since Monomoy Girl as a 3-year-old. Yeah. And that was not hyperbole from him. That was just Brad Cox talking about someone else's horse. That's high praise, man. Dude, I went back because of that and watched the Monomoy Girl. Holy bleep. She was unbelievable. Man, oh man, just so good.
If we're going for this because there's a chance, I guess, that it's so spread out that they just take whoever won the Kentucky Derby. Especially if a 4-year-old somehow wins the Breeders' Cup Classic, I'll take Mystic Dan.
Yeah, it's a good pick.
Yeah.
It's a really good pick, actually.
Not that I feel like he's going to really do a whole lot more than this year, but
sure.
He won the biggest race for the 3-year-olds, right? So.
Oh man, what do I want here? I don't like any of the other horses left. I'll take Dornock because I think he's got a chance this weekend. So if he can win the Belmont, win this race this weekend, and then pick off another race, I think he can absolutely be horse of the year. So I'll take Dornock.
All right, there you go.
That's fair.
I would have taken Mystic Dan had you passed.
So let me just ask you, John, because you took a Japanese horse and a filly.
A filly, yeah.
Is McKinley's over here in the corner of our screen porch, seeing a black cat across the way.
There it is. Get that cat. Get him, McKinley. Get him.
So apologize to the dog bark. He never barks. So I knew it was coming.
Should I let him out?
All right, no, he's good. Kill that cat.
Will he murder that cat?
All right, so anyway, you want to see him eat the cat?
I do.
We might have to turn the camera around for like a little Discovery Channel.
Oh, nature's scary.
Sherva gives his dog filet mignon.
Yeah, you feed yours cats.
But we're just going to let him go hunt for his own food in the backyard. That's how we do it in hillbilly allergy states of Kentucky. All right. So,
no, he says.
Yeah, he just looked at you.
He looked at me like I'm not doing that.
Yeah, that cat's just perched on the hill, staring him down.
Oh,
anyway, I'm back to my question. Is the 3-year-old class? I don't think anyone thinks the 3-year-old class is great, but is it good and just very? There's a whole lot of parity, or is it just a bad group of 3-year-olds?
I still think it's too early to say. I think that the Travers is going to decide that. Like, if a horse who was an unknown before the Travers wins the Travers, to me, that'll just say, okay, this is a crop of horses just beating up on each other. I can't really take anybody seriously going into the Breeders' Cup or even into the 4-year-old seasons for that matter. But if somebody strings together 2 good races in a row and wins the Travers, then I'll be a little bit more excited about what's in store at the Breeders' Cup and in 2025.
Okay.
Well, the 2025 part is the most interesting part for me, John. I totally agree. A horse like Mystic Dan, bred for 10 Gs, is going to run as a 4-year-old if he's healthy. I think we could see
a bunch of these horses.
That's the thing. And so we actually could get a more interesting older male division, especially, with horses whose dads were better as 4-year-olds, right? If you get into a gun runner, maybe some of these Arrogates run. I do wonder if the Arrogates won't go off to the breeding shed quicker because dad isn't around anymore. But I do think like a Mystic Dan could run again. I don't know. Are the Good Magic kids going to run off to the breeding shed? I'm not sure
I'm not
about
100% sure.
Yeah.
Louis did let the dog out, by the way. Louis came.
Oh, he's like 7 yards away now. Yeah.
Yeah.
We might never see him again.
Well, I hope that's not true. He did get the cat off the hill. So for all you all who were just wondering what just happened,
the cat got away. How about
the cat got away.
How about that?
I'm hoping that's a really good class with a lot of parity, that we see him race as 4-year-olds and just continue to develop. And I think there's a chance that's true. I mean, I
who's
think,
the second best filly right now?
Man, that's hard to
Is
say.
it Ways and Means?
What do you think, John?
Is it Leslie's Rose?
I think Leslie's Rose.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
But
maybe a power squeeze. I don't know, man. It got thin after the big races, man.
But it's like asking who's the second most famous player on the LA Angels. Like,
yeah, right.
It doesn't really matter.
It doesn't.
After Mike Trout.
Yes.
I'm just looking up to see what our man Dr. Derby says.
Torpedo Anna, the Mike Trout of horse racing. How about that? You like that?
Torpedo Anna, the Mike Trout of horse racing.
No one else matters.
No problem.
Oh man.
Okay. Let's get on to your Manscaped read. I'm gonna let you do this while I try to get the dog back in the.
He's right there.
Oh, here he is. Okay.
He's right there.
Okay. All right.
I did the right thing. It's called nature. You understand me? Domesticated nature. Yes. And if you are paying attention to us, we are presented by our friends at Manscaped. Manscaped.com. Use our promo code horse racing, all one word, 20% off your purchase, shipped to your house for free. So check them out. Manscaped.com. Like I talked about last week, maybe it's pool season, a little bit more on the shoulders than you used to. Go ahead, get yourself cleaned up, look better around the pool, at the beach, whatever it is that you're doing. Getting ready for a little Jersey Shore trip myself. You get some cleanup going.
Trim up? Did you trim up down there? The bush?
Not down there for the Jersey Shore trip, but a little chest cleanup, a little shoulder cleanup.
I thought you might have
things that I didn't need 5 years ago, like shoulder cleanups, happening now with Manscaped. Manscaped.com. Use our promo code horse racing, free shipping to your house.
I was
20% off.
You taking some of that down there and putting it on your chest.
Oh, got it. Yeah. Little transplant.
Yeah,
yeah.
But,
no, that's Dr. Chet Mays. That's different.
Okay.
That's
there it is.
That'll be over Derby. Yeah.
So yeah, all right, let's get on to the day that you're gonna be. I'm really excited. I'm super jealous. I think you're gonna have an amazing day.
One I actually believe you. Many things you say to me, I don't believe you.
This is a great.
It's one of those things.
I mean, it's a great.
No, but I think you also want to go to Monmouth. You want to meet Matt Derriman, like all the stuff. Yeah,
I want to see Matt. I want to do the Northeast racing thing. That I've never gone.
Yeah, the old Mid-Atlantic thing,
north of Baltimore.
Right.
I want to do all that stuff. I want to do Monmouth. I want to do Saratoga. Eventually do Belmont.
John, if you were to sort of rank the Mid-Atlantic tracks, let's go ahead and throw them all in: Colonial, Pimlico, Laurel, Timonium, Parks, Penn National, Monmouth, and let's throw in, because they do run thoroughbreds there, let's throw in the Big M. I guess that's not Mid-Atlantic. We're getting into New York then. So let's do the first 4 there: Parks, Penn, or I guess first 6. Yeah, Parks, Penn, Monmouth, and then the 3 Maryland tracks. Which is your favorite of the 6?
As far as fan experience,
100%
Timonium. I love Timonium.
Yeah,
so much. Atmosphere is absolutely second to none. It's a lot of folks who don't go to the track during the year. A lot of families, a lot of young kids just there for a day at the fair who get to really see what racing's all about for the first time. And everyone's having fun. Everyone's cheering on the horses. Some people get to make money, and it's just a
little Ferris wheel in the background. Oh yeah.
Yes. I have found the Timonium equivalent of taking a picture of the bridge as you drive to Saratoga is taking a picture of the horses as they go past a Ferris wheel on the turn. So I love Timonium. One track that you didn't mention that I have to throw in, and a track I was just at about 2 weeks ago, is Delaware Park.
Oh, DP,
which is absolutely gorgeous. Wonderful simulcast area. Great sight lines for racing. A paddock is beautiful. It's
how did I forget Delaware? That's a bad job.
Big picking area by the first turn. Great place to spend a day if you haven't had a chance to go. It's definitely worth a trip. And I pretty much grew up at Monmouth Park. Like I went there, I think, for the first time at about 7 months old, 6-7 months old. So I never stood a chance. And I've gone there every full year of my life. You'll have such a fun time. I wish I could be there, but duty calls. It's a
Yeah, John gets out of the
Great
publicity
place.
business and he's actually got to work now. Look
I
at
mean,
that.
I know.
I mean, how about that?
He's no fun anymore.
Yeah. Oh, I got to go to work. Working at
Yeah, well,
Yonkers.
let's raise
we get
that.
it. We get it.
Yeah,
You're a big shot now. We get it.
Call
We
raises.
get it.
I mean,
This
those
thing.
horses the ads, Yonkers won't claim themselves, so I got to.
Gotta claim these
that.
horses.
But Monmouth is wonderful. I mean, it's like Timonium in that everybody there's having a good time, and also again, it's a lot of day trippers, a lot of families, and I will say, if you find time to go on a non-Haskell day, because Haskell day is a bit of a zoo. On a day like, say, Haskell Preview Day or on Roll Day Weekend, those are my favorite days to go.
Cool. There you go.
All right, real quick before we get into the day at Monmouth, give me a real quick. Is there any chance that Torpedo Anna loses the coaching club American Oaks? The Leslie's Rose.
They run it 10 times. She wins at 9.
What do you think, Johnny P?
I will steal a line I first heard from Tom Durkin, and I would advise anyone on track for the race to find out where all the emergency exits are and familiarize herself with disaster protocol, because if she loses, it is a sign that the apocalypse is nigh. So you might want to take shelter.
So what does she go off at? What do you think?
1 to 20.
1 to 20 sounds right.
Wow.
If I were Naira, I would not allow place betting.
I agree.
Show betting. I would not allow show betting. I
Place too. You could argue place.
It is a small field. It's
I mean, 5 horses. I just the jumpers for that race are going to be outrageous. The number of $100,000 bets on her to show are going to be absurd. I mean, just absolutely absurd. So I would stay away from that race. Yes.
All right. Let's move. Now we're going to go to the day of Monmouth. It's going to start with the grade 3 matchmaker, which is a mile and an eighth on the turf for fillies and mares, 3-year-olds and up, $300,000 here. This is race 5. They go the stakes races here. We got 5 graded stakes plus a listed stakes, the Wolf Hill. But they're going to go race 5, 6, take a little break for 7 and 8, and then they come back 9, 10, 11, 12 on the card. So we're going to race 5, grade 3 matchmaker. John, who did you like in this race?
Starts a pick 5 here, by the way. An interesting spot for the pick 5 because it ends with the Wolf Hill Sprint.
Okay.
Race 9. So John, go ahead.
Well, in light of Chad Brown having 5 horses in the Diana last week, now he has 3 more in the matchmakers. So really no shortage of top class females in Chad Brown's barn as usual. And I think one is on top. Number 1, Delahaye, put in by Flavian Pratt, who of course rode White Beef Victory last Saturday. Lightly raced filly in quickly improving form. Her 3 stakes races this year have been her 3 best figures on the Brisnet scale. I really like to win in the mint julep last time out at Churchill Downs. Drafted off the pace, made a very strong move to the front, kicked away professionally, one going away. Also ran a pretty credible 3rd in a pretty tough field, than the one she'll see today in the Distaff Turf Mile. Could be getting even better. Should have a great trip under Flavian Pratt. I think she's pretty clearly the one to beat here.
I agree. Delahaye is on top for me as well. I like the 4 surprisingly in here. Has run second twice in 2 starts at Monmouth.
Why are you surprised about the 4 horse? What's so surprising
for Irad and Todd?
What's Irad on the turf is surprisingly
surprising.
What's the all right?
Huh?
Oh, you're bad jokes. Come on,
Come on,
John.
I like it. Ran in this race second last year by a half length behind a horse named Consumer Spending. I don't think there's a Consumer Spending in this group, and so I think she's got a legit shot. I don't think you'll get anywhere near 4 to 1. Bote Cachet is in here. Very interesting horse as well. Frankie Dettori in town to ride this weekend. He may get to jump off of this one, who ran pretty well in the Just a Game last time under Manny Franco behind Chili Flag and White Beam. Both of those horses, of course, ran really, really well in the Diana. So drops out of that kind of company back into the kind where she won the Jenny Wiley grade 1 at Keeneland as well. So look for her to have a big run here. By the way, the last time Frankie was aboard her was in that race at Keeneland in April. So look for her to have a big race as well. 147 for me.
Is this on our grade? This seems more like a This is
Solid
better than
grade 2.
three. This is a grade
Solid
2.
grade 2.
Yeah.
I agree with
So
you.
we got
I agree.
Oh, this is going to be a theme of the Monmouth races in general. Like the United Nations getting dropped to a grade 2, ridiculous. I
Fingers
think
crossed next year it gets moved up again.
yeah, and then the Molly pitcher being a grade 3 is
It's
the
a
biggest
big
joke in
out
horse
there.
racing.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Because of the purse and what division this appeals to, that 2-turn older female horse. This is absolutely at least a grade 2, if not a grade 1.
100%. So we're going to talk
Mhm.
about that Molly pitcher stakes now, the 2024 grade 3 Molly pitcher, $500,000. $500,000 for a grade 3. Fantastic. Fillies and Mares 3 years and up.
It's going to be racing at Churchill
Mile
Downs,
and
isn't
a
it?
16
Yeah.
on the dirt. Idiomatic trying to bounce
buddy.
back
Good to see her here.
after finishing second in the Ogden Phipps. Does she do it, Louis?
Let's just have a moment of appreciation for Idiomatic running all the time.
Yes.
Mhm.
Like she doesn't take no, it's just fantastic. And by the way, to the Judd people for being like, yeah, go run. I mean, like honestly, they don't have to do this,
Right.
right? They have all the things. They don't need to do this. They run her all the time. I'm majorly appreciative of that. I do think she gets it done here. I don't think she loses back to back. I think she'll be just fine on the surface there. She loses to Randomized last time. I don't see another horse of her quality in this field. The only one who would concern me if I'm in that group is that Misty Vale's going to go with her, right? Misty Vale's going to be part of that front group, and she looked really good in the Lady Jacqueline last time out at Thistledown, first off the layoff there. This is second off the layoff. That wasn't supposed to be her firing race. They dropped her into that listed stakes in Cleveland, and she comes out of it really, really well. Did run in a lot of really high level races before this, but I think this is kind of her level. So I'll go 6-5 for my cold exacta in the Molly pitcher.
6-5
for Louis. John, what do you think?
I think a cold exacta is about the only way to play this race because, again, being something totally unforeseen, there's really no way that Idiomatic can lose this race. I feel like trying to figure out how to beat her is trying to figure out how you'll beat an elephant in a wrestling match. You can't do it. So I think a cold exacta is way to go here. And the horse I like underneath is someone who was a racing darling about 2 years ago and is slowly starting to get back to her best self. And that's number 1, Kathleen O. for Sugar McGahee, a big Oaks prospect back in 2022, came in 5th in that race, had 3 straight runner-up finishes, capped her 3-year-old season and go into her 4-year-old season. Then pretty badly tailed off after that, but did bounce back, I thought, pretty nicely in the Serena Song on this track last time out. Came from off the pace, a pretty moderate pace over a wet track, rallied to beat a pretty nice field, including a colt who won the Monmouth Oaks very impressively last year, and Venti Valentine, a very nice grade 2 type filly. Didn't run a great figure that day, ran an 87 on the Brisnet scale, but it was a second straight race where she took a big step forward on that scale. She has great late pace figures, clearly a lot of upside, and I think she'll be overlooked in the betting. So I think a 6-1 exacta is the play in the Molly pitcher.
It was Kathleen O's first win in over 2 years.
Yeah.
In the song. So
and it was at Monmouth, her first
it was at
time trying Monmouth.
Yeah.
Well, and you get Vincent Cheminot, and that's a local jock. Once in a while, the local guys have good days on the big days, and so John's pick here, not lots of positives.
I'm intrigued by Just Catherine, just FYI. So I don't know what you want to make of that, but it just I'm kind of intrigued by Just Catherine.
Javier Castellano on a big day. It is what it is, man.
That's right. So. All right, we're going to move on to the next race.
By the way, part of that pick 5, race 7 has 14 horses, race 8 has 9.
Oh, wow.
It's just it is just a great card for that sort of stuff.
And the takeout rate's good, right?
It is 15% for both pick 4s and pick 5s at Monmouth. Yep.
All right, we're going to move on to the Wolf Hill. This is a 5.5 turf sprint for females, 3-year-olds and up, $100,000 race. John, who did you like in this one?
I know this is the only non-graded stakes that we're talking about, but this is a graded stakes quality field. I mean, it's pretty solid.
Yes.
Grade 3. I think it's pretty clearly a 2-horse race here. Number 5, Arzak, Mike Trombetta, and number 8, Nothing Better for Jorge Duarte. Really stand out. I ended up picking Nothing Better on top, but I could go either way. I think Nothing Better is raised 2 stars back, which looks very unimpressive at first glance. Is a pretty clear toss. He had an awful break that day. rode up at the start, never got into position, and he just didn't fire. He took a big step forward in the Mighty Bow Stakes on your home turf at Churchill Downs.
Yep.
Last time out, fought hard on the lead, sent his dueling partner into a 4.5 length defeat, fended off a swarm of closers and won by a half length and bounced back very nicely, second off the bench from that race. At his ceiling, he runs Brisnet figures in the mid-upper 90s pretty steadily. Nobody else in this field, except for Ozak, can really do that. I think Ozak takes most of the money. Hope we can get about 7-2 or 4-1 on nothing better, and that would be pretty square in my eyes.
Jorge Ruiz and Duarte hitting at 57%.
Mm-hmm. Okay, I guess.
Yeah, it's not bad.
Yeah,
pretty solid.
Not bad. It's a good.
Okay.
That's a good number. Okay.
Yeah. I agree with his top two here. I would flip them. I would have Arzak on top, but that's we're splitting hairs at that point. Third horse, I think, has a real shot to hit the board here. Local horse, Outlaw Country, 4 for 5 lifetime at Monmouth Park. The 7 horse here, 5 for 8 lifetime at the distance. Only missed the board once, going 5.5 sprinting. That includes, all of his turf races. Just a 4-year-old here in the Kelly Breen barn. Really interested to see what Vincent Cheminot does here as well. A name that we've already brought up. Only real question about this horse: never run withoat Lasix. So we'll find out if the medication change is bad for this horse. But look, this is, I think, underrated sort of thing. Get the local. He didn't have to travel to go to this race. He's already there. He knows the course. He's working at Monmouth. His works, by the way, are always slow on the dirt, and then he shows up on the turf and he's considerably better. And the Breen barn, by the way, 17% in turf sprints, 14% going back to back. This horse did win last time out at an optional claimer, finishing time in 102 and change for 5.5. That's a winning time in this race if he can repeat that form.
So let me just ask a stupid handicapping question, because we want to educate people here, right?
Mm-hmm.
There's no stupid questions, just stupid people. So there you go. The nothing better, obviously, with a pretty solid speed rating.
Yeah, sure.
And same thing with with Arzak, pretty solid speed ratings last time out. It's a pretty large, like if you're one of these beginning bettors and you're looking at speed ratings, it's a pretty big drop to Outlaw Country. So how would someone handicap to get to the point of getting to where Outlaw Country is?
To me, it is
overcome the speed rating thing, because it usually hits on. This is where I think this is. By the way, this is a compliment to Louis, because I think this is one of the places where he finds the horses that maybe don't have the speed ratings that always jump up and have a big showing.
I always love a horse for course. In other words, a horse that's good at a very specific track, right? So this is a horse that has never missed the board in 5 runs at Monmouth, has only missed the board once at the distance. But I also look for the times. And if this is a horse that's running a time that's at least similar, and in a sprint, you got to really nitpick about how close they are. That's essentially what I'm looking for. And then, of course, if I do think in this era right now where we don't have luxury plane travel for horses, a horse being at a place and not having to travel does matter to me. And so it's not something that horses can't overcome, but I do think it matters. I think, for example, like in the Indiana Derby, Dragoon Guard just having to take a bus up from Louisville was way different than having to fly in from California.
Yeah.
I think that's way different, and I think it does affect the horses. So I think a local like that, I think it's really valuable, and I think a 102 and change, if that time can win the race, then I look at them more seriously, John.
And I'll say also, nothing better doesn't have as much of a local edge as Outlaw Country, but he is still locally based. He's based at Colts Neck Stables. That's where the CNS in his workout lines comes from. And that's only a few miles away from Monmouth Park. So he's only a short van route away as well.
Yeah, nothing better, by the way. 4 for 9 at Monmouth. Tons of experience there. 9 for 23 on the turf in general. I mean, this is a fun field. Like you mentioned, listed stakes, but really feels like a grade 3 minus or even a grade 3.
All right, we're going to move on to the race 10 now, which is the grade 3 Monmouth Cup. 1.1 miles on the dirt for 3-year-olds, $400,000 purse. Louis, we're going to see.
Tapit Trice, man.
Return of Tapit Trice.
Yeah, how about that?
We're going to see the return of Tapit Trice.
Good spot, by the way. I think this is kind of the perfect level to bring him back if they're going to try him as a 4-year-old.
And then we're going to see.
I wonder if John agrees with that, by the way. Do you think this is kind of the right spot for him if he's going to try, to get his feet back under him as a 4-year-old?
First of all, I had a big Mandela effect with this because I could have sworn Tapit Trice had run prior to this. And I looked at it in past performances and I saw his name and I was like, he really hasn't run since last year's Travers? Really? Because it's felt like for like the past 3 months, it's been like, oh, Tapit Trice is close. He's close. He's coming back. And now he is finally back. I do think it's a pretty soft spot to make his comeback, and I don't think anybody outside of favorite Highland Falls is that dangerous. It's just, as a rule, I don't like betting horses at low odds off that big a layoff unless they're just that much the best, and I don't think he's that much the best. So I'm willing to fade him, and if he beats me out of a pick 4, pick 5, so be it.
Highland Falls, of course, started off he just recently won the Blame at Churchill Downs.
Yep.
The Grade 3 Blame, but won 3 of his first 4 races. Had a little bit of a time where he came in second. He said the board every time except for one time. So Highland Falls, the deserving favorite here. Just the fact that those two horses are in.
And I remember we talked to Brad last. When he went to the Santa Anita handicap.
Yep.
We said, "Whoa!"
Yeah.
And he went, "No, he's ready." And he went. He ran. He was winning 3 lengths in that race. I mean, he loses out there, but he runs second in that Oaklawn handicap this year, right behind Skippy Longstopping and ahead of Red Route 1. So he's in that class. Whatever that group is of older dirt males that are in that grade 2, grade 3 traditional sort of ilk, he's one of the better ones of that. I've got him on top here. I think if you want a different horse to watch for here, I think Stage Raider, who was okay in the Salvatore Mile, is second off the very long layoff here. That horse ran in December, that didn't run again till June for the Cherie DeVoe barn under Sammy Camacho. Jose Ortiz in town for the ride on this one. He won once last year. I get it. I don't think he's going to be a winner in this race, but I think Stage Raider is the horse that if you wanted to have an interesting exacta, maybe you go 3-1 in this race.
Okay.
I agree with John at this point with Tapit Trice. I'll let him beat me as well. I might throw him in tickets, but boy, I feel way better about Highland Falls, John.
Yeah, I mean, I think Highland Falls is pretty clearly one to beat. Love the way he won the Blame. Love how lightly raced he is. Love how he keeps routing. And I think his best and I do think his best is yet to come. 2 more points about this race. One is that my dad is going to be there on Saturday, and I'm sure. And at
Johnny P's dad,
do I get to Mr. Piaz?
I'll let him know where you are, and I'll make sure he comes by and says hi. And I'm
if he doesn't follow your career, then he has no idea who I am. I agree.
Because this race used to be called Meadowlands Cup back when it was at the Meadowlands.
Oh.
And I'm sure he'll make some comment about how, back in the day, I was there when I saw Spectacular Bid and Ali Sheba win this race and Broad Brush, and now like Highland Falls, like what's going on here? So he'll go straight into like grumpy old man mode. So I'm sure that's going to happen at some point over the course of the day. And the other point is there's one horse who I kind of like who hasn't gotten brought up yet, and that's number 4, Country Spy, coming in from Parks. Paco Lopez is up. He looks like a main speed in here, and when he gets the front end, he's pretty dangerous. In his last 3 starts where he's had the lead at the first point of call, he's held on to win every time. And yes, they were in allowances, but the upper level allowance horses at Parks are pretty good. I mean, his great 2 starts back and open allowance, he beat a lot of horses in there who would not be out of place in any listed stakes in the Mid-Atlantic area. He beat that field by a neck, or a length rather, ran a very solid Brisbane figure of 98, ran in the triple digits 3 times over the winter and spring, all of them with gate to wire trips. Paco rode him 2 starts back, so he knows how to ride the horse. He knows what's up. If he gets to the front and gets an easy enough trip, especially because, horse players are so paranoid about big days being speed favoring. If it's a speed favoring track, could be gone.
There you go.
One of Louis' favorite races of the year. He loves turf route races. The 1 3/8 turf on the Grade 2 United Nations. This field is just so balanced. 5 horses coming in. This 5 of the 12 coming off a stakes win. And then you throw in there Far Bridge, who came in 3rd in a Grade 1. I mean, this is a spread race of all spread races. They're going to be packed together coming down the stretch. I mean, this is good.
I get to see a fun United Nations in person.
It's going to be a really fun.
This is what I'm talking about. Let's go.
Go ahead, Lou.
What
do you like here?
Shot
we've got
play of the day. Get smoking the 3. Fernando de la Cruz in town to ride. He followed this horse up to Woodbine, ran on the kitty litter, as Dan Issel would call it, last time in the Eclipse in the grade 2 up there at Woodbine, was first off the layoff, comes in second off, wins last year at Kentucky Downs, almost picked off the Kentucky Downs preview before that at Ellis Park, ran in the Wisedan second, the Arlington second. I think the added distance is what this horse is going to want. Give me Get Smoking on top of the 3 horse here. I think we'll get a massive price on him. Farbridge is in here. Farbridge is very good. Let's be very clear about that. Farbridge is in here, the 12. Excellent horse. I'm really looking forward to seeing him run as well. I thought ran a really good race in the Manhattan, just didn't get there at the end. 18-1 in that race. We'll get nowhere near that number at Monmouth on Saturday. I went inside then to the 2. Emmanuel, 10-1 on the morning line here. Was not great in the Arlington last out. Was not great in the Maker's Mark before that, but was very good in the Canadian Turf at Gulfstream Park. I'm wondering if warmer temps in a drier course are going to be better for this horse. I also, right now, by the way, I've reached this point, Mike, with my handicapping. Are you ready for a ridiculous statement?
Tell me.
You know how, like, after a horse runs at Kentucky Downs, you can't really hold it against or for them?
Sure.
That's where I am on the Churchill Downs turf course right now.
Okay. Because you just don't know.
I don't know how they're, if it, like, some horses like it and some don't. And so, like, Web Slinger loves it. Like, good for him, and because there's a lot of money here and there's races that he can win. And I think that's a positive for him. By the way, off the board, hasn't won this year, only one win the last 2 years. Major chance here. Tawny Port, I think, has a major shot here. The 9 horse. Flavien Prat's going to give this horse a chance to win. Christophe Clement, sneaky good year so far. Like a sneaky good year, 21%.
Kind of like in Fort Washington a little bit.
Dude, if you told me any of these horses, I'd be like, yeah. That's why this is better than a grade 2. I totally disagree with the grade stakes.
You think this is a grade 1?
This field's grade 1 for sure, especially in this division. Yes, in this division for sure. Go ahead, John. I'm sorry. All worked up.
No. I mean, as you said, the UN is a great race. I have many fond memories of watching it, especially back in 2009 when Precious Passion opened up about 25 lengths on the field and just kept on going and held on to win in gate to wire style, and Get Smoking could follow that tradition. I like him a lot here also. I think it's down to him and Farbridge, the wonderful morning line maker. Brad Thomas has made Get Smoking 12-1 on the morning line. I think if you get 12-1, you ought to rent a U-Haul, and that'll let you hold all the money that you should go bet on him. And 2, I know Mike said this looks like a spread race, but in bets like the pick 4 and the pick 5, where you really make money going against the public, I think that if you like a horse like Get Smoking that much, who's going to be a good price, you could make a case for singling him and try to knock out a bunch of tickets, because everybody is going to be using the same 4 horses who are going to go off at about 4-1 or 5-1 or 6-1. So if any of them win,
that's right.
You're not knocking out that many tickets.
Right.
Horse like Get Smoking wins, that'll knock out a lot of tickets, and it'll set you up pretty nicely with a good price single going into the last leg, which is, of course, the Haskell.
We got Johnny P always talking about taking a stand in his multi-race sequences. You got to take a stand.
Back a horse to get paid, as Danny Brewer would say.
That's right. Have a hunch, bet a bunch.
You understand me? Have a hunch, bet a bunch.
I mean, and those, when we talk about
no, but back a horse to get paid. That's what John. It's exactly what John's talking about.
Yeah,
yes, that's exactly what John's talking about. Yes,
love it.
By the way, that he's totally right. If you back Get Smoking, even in like a pick 3 or a double or something, you're gonna get paid, right? I mean, that's the kind of horse that if you take out 11 other possible scenarios where this horse is going to get less than 8% of the action.
And the guy who gets paid is going to get.
You got to figure you got to figure also he goes gate to wire more than 8 times out of 100. No, I mean the only one who could really challenge him on the lead is So High, who made some waves last year when he almost wired Joe Hirsch at like 80 quadrillion to 1. But if Get Smoking outruns him early, he could be the one who opens up that big loose lead and just keeps going. And as I said that happens more than 8 times out of 100.
Yeah. All right. Well, there you go. Get Smoking, lose pick. John's going to go with the chalk on Farbridge on the far outside. Listen, he's got those LSU silks. We're not doing that.
Got it. Starting over, by the way, the 11, Sammy Camacho gets the ride. Won the MAC Armada last out, 6-1 for Mike Maker. Don't know what that horse is going to do. That's when I don't know.
Yeah.
Hard to predict the Maker horses sometimes.
Okay. Now we're on to the Haskell. We can say Haskell or no school.
Or I like, what was the first one? Haskell?
Haskell.
I like Haskell. How about has been for a no?
Well, no, because I don't know if you have any has-beens. Are you? I mean, unless you're putting Timberlake in that.
I'm just trying to be mean.
Okay.
Oh, okay. You want to do something not as mean?
Yeah,
we don't have to be mean.
Let's not be that mean.
Oh, okay. No
yeah,
meanness. Okay.
Yeah, let's do.
I mean, it's Jersey.
No, Haskell, no school. Which when we always.
Isn't it funny, by the way? We should discuss this in front of John that you look like New Jersey and you're not going. Like that.
He does
shirt,
look a
that
lot like
hair,
New
that
Jersey.
face.
He does. He does. And the tan too.
Yeah. No, he looks like New Jersey. I look like this. I don't look like New Jersey. They're gonna know I'm not from there.
Yeah. They'll be like, oh, Gandolfo. I know like 40 Gandolfos.
Yeah,
They're like Rabot.
Precisely.
What the F is a
happen.
Rabot?
You're totally right about that. Oh man.
All right. We'll go through the field real quick. First off, John, do you think we're gonna get to see a 8-horse field or a 6-horse field or a 7-horse field?
It'll be 7. I'm almost certain because there is almost zero. I mean, like Michael Poley can say whatever he wants. I don't think that there's a way in the world that he can't resist running one of his horses in the Jim Dandy necessarily. So based on everything I've heard, I handicapped this race on the assumption Fierceness was going to scratch and Ryan Frame was going to run. And
what about Dornock?
He'll run.
You know, since it is British Open week, I have to pull a quote I once heard from Jack Nicklaus. And he was talking about how going into a golf tournament, anytime he heard a golfer make an excuse, he would scratch him off his list of possible winners. His line, because his thinking was, if you're making an excuse before it even starts, you're not going to win. So if Danny Gargan is whining about post 1 3 days in advance on a horse who has run well from inside post in the past, and really his marquee win for the Belmont came on a rail by his track, that says he's not that confident and he's trying to make an excuse in advance. So I'm very suspicious of doing it.
So, okay, we'll start there then. Dornock, a Haskell or a no school?
Naskell for me.
Noskell. He went Noskell. All right.
Haskell for me, for sure. Danny Gargan's a liar. How about that?
So
I'm kidding. I'm kidding. No, I think that was taken completely out of context. I think he's totally fine because this horse is going to need the lead anyway. This isn't the Kentucky Derby. There aren't 50 horses on the field, on the track. There are 7. He'll be fine. I agree with John about everything he said about the rail and all those things. Luis Saez will try to get the lead. If he holds the lead, he wins the race. That's it. Pretty simple.
I mean, he's definitely one of the top 3 horses. So from that sense, you got to go Haskell. But from the idea that I don't think any of these 3-year-olds are capable of winning back-to-back races, major races. So I don't
think that's a silly take at all.
I think there's a no.
I don't think that's a silly take at all.
He would not be my pick, but I'm not going to be shocked if he wins. So Jasper's Pride coming off the allowance optional claiming race where he finished 3rd. It got to be a no school for me. John?
You know, a good friend of mine has a cat named Jasper, so I could pull for him in that sense. And also because he's a Jersey bred, I cheer for him too. But, you know, he's never gone beyond 6 furlongs. He's never run a Brisnet figure higher than 88. Actually, I think he'd be at least a exotics contender in the Jersey Shore Stakes on Friday, featuring a top Jersey bred sprinter in Bochum Dano. So he could have been there, but he's not. He's here, and if he loses by less than 30 lengths, it'll be a miracle. So there you go.
All right, that sounds like a no school to me.
Here's what I would say about Jasper's Pride. Is everyone ready for this?
Let me know.
So the Iowa Derby happens right after the Indiana Derby, and everyone's on Just a Touch. Everyone's looking at Dymatic. Everyone's looking at Northern Flame. Perhaps Preakness alum Mugatu. Maybe they're looking at these kinds of horses. But do you know who won that race? A bum. His name is Henro. That's his name. Henro. Had never gone a route, had only been sprinting, and Rafa Bejarano showed up and wiped up that booty. You understand? He spanked everybody around. And now we got Jasper's Pride in the Haskell. You understand me? And you know how he's going to run? Dead last. That's how. No school for me. How about that?
You know, I'd like to say, just piggybacking on that, anytime someone on Derby Week brings up some crazy long shot and goes, hey, you know, like Rich Strike won and Mind That Boot won, why not him? I think anytime somebody does that and and Angel loses their wings.
The other thing, by the way, I watched Henro's line go down. He went off at like 9-2, never having routed. Brad Cox has got a horse in the race, like all this stuff. If Jasper's what's the name of this horse again?
Jasper's Pride.
Jasper's Pride. If that horse gets down to like 8-1, he's winning. I'm just telling people, someone will know something's going on in New Jersey that, someone who looks like Mike is pulling the strings. I'm just saying, like, if he gets down to 8-1, Jasper's Pride by a pole. How about that?
All right. Tuscan Sky is the 3. Tuscan Sky with the win in the Pegasus after a 2-month layoff. It was won 3 out of 4 races. And I think a lot of people thought this horse was super talented and then just did not have a good race in that Wood Memorial. This is one of those like 3-year-olds that I could see kind of rebounding and starting to have a pretty good second half. I've got to go Haskell.
He's a definite for me. And part of it is Javier Castellano. The guy the last couple of years even just continues. Big race day, Javier Castellano shows up. He's going to be part of it. He looks so comfortable in that Pegasus. Domestic product, came back and won his next race, right? Wins on closing weekend at Aqueduct. Resilience ain't walking through that door. I think Tuscan Sky's got a legit shot this week. I've got him 3rd in my handicapping, John.
I am firmly a NASCAR on Tuscan Sky.
Show us.
Well, the reason why is because that Pegasus was such a weirdly run race. And we'll talk about this more with C Streak. But it was a 6-horse field, and 5 of them were stacked across the track pretty much the entire race. Like the first half mile, 5/8, it was 5 across. And Tuscan Sky was on the inside of that 5. So he saved more ground than virtually everybody else in the field. Now, go look at that 2 ways. One is he got a lot of pace pressure and still held on. And yes, that's true. But it's also very unlikely that he'll be in a spot where he'll have such a ground saving advantage compared to his rivals. I mean, and he beat almost nothing at Aqueduct. He beat almost nothing in his allowance win at Fairgrounds. That Wood win really left me cold. As I said, I thought he had a really great setup in the Pegasus. He'll get overbet. I'm fading him.
Okay. The horse I'm going to fade is Timberlake. I will go Haskell on Timberlake. So,
I don't know what to do with him. All the banter around Derby time was that they wanted to cut him back in distance. He's a 1-turn miler, but he has also won the Rebel, right? Like, what do we do with this horse? He beat Northern Flame, all that stuff. He's in every other type, by the way, too.
He is.
And this is the every other. God, this just
it's been a little bit. Though.
Can we say this out loud? Brad Cox outside of Chasing Freedom, not a great 3-year-old year until Dragoon Guard. I mean, and that's a grade 3.
Dragoon Guard
might be a monster. I mean, might be.
Yeah.
But I'm a no. I'm just a no. And this is where Johnny P says yes.
I do say yes, because everybody thought, people tend to have very short memories.
Yes, we do.
When it comes to horses on a Derby trail, because going into the Arkansas Derby, Timberlake is being talked about as one of, if not the, Derby favorite. I mean, he won the Rebel.
He was a favorite of the Arkansas Derby, yeah.
Pretty impressively. He won by 2 lengths, ran back-to-back triple-digit prisoner figures to cap his 2-year-old season, went off as the 11th and 10th favorite in the Arkansas Derby. Ran, I thought, an okay race. I mean, he got involved in a pretty serious early pace battle, held on okay until late. He was given some time off. He's worked pretty well at Churchill Downs. There were many easier spots that Brad Cox could have dropped him in. He could have dropped him in Iowa. He could have dropped him in Indiana, but he did. Sure. He put him in here. That gives me a good amount of confidence. Vivian Pratt is sticking around. Keep the mount. He rode him in the Arkansas Derby as well. I think he'll get overlooked and could go off at a pretty good number.
All right. Damn it. You talked me into him. Fierceness will scratch out the 6 Just Step on it. Coming out of optional claiming company at Parks. John, what say you about Just Step on it?
Well, I know my friend Jessica Paquette, I'm sure, is going to be cheering for him as he is Pokes-based, so I will cheer for him on behalf
I wonder
of
if she'll
Jess.
be there. Do you think she'll be there for the Haskell?
I'll have to ask her. I know she usually goes home on the weekends, so I'm not 100%, but I will have to ask her about that. Because I know, and in fact, Pokes only has one more week left, and then he take a little summer vacation, and then they're off to late August. So we'll see. I mean, just step on it. He's not totally hopeless, not as hopeless as Justice Pride. He did take a big step forward, second off a layoff last time out at post. He got hounded on the pace throughout, kicked away, won by almost 2 lengths, ran a decent business figure of 91, not too far off from his career best of 94. If everything breaks totally right, he could spoil a trifecta or the superfecta at a big price, but as a win contender, a firm Haskell.
All right, let's get this into mind frame. And I love this horse. It would be really hard for me though to bet this horse at 9-5.
Okay,
you know, he's a Haskell for me. I think he would be my pick to win.
Is he a rascal though?
Is he a rascal? He probably is a rascal.
Probably is a rascal,
yeah.
Right? Yeah. Little Pletcher barn, huh?
I just can't imagine like taking a horse who's not proven anything in stakes company. Like we're wanting six. I mean, he's proven something. He came in second in the Belmont, right? And like you said, if it was his 4th race, he probably wins it. He needs this feather in his cap for sure. I would like to see a horse who's 9-5 already had that feather in the cap. So,
okay, fair enough.
Yeah.
I think in this 3-year-old class, that's kind of not
the way it is.
Yeah, it's just not what it is.
Yeah.
Right. So Haskell, I agree. Haskell. Kind of a no-doubter. Frankly, Haskell, 3rd-time routing. Doesn't have to go that full 1.25 miles like he did in the Belmont this time out. So I think he'll do what he did in the Belmont, stay very close to the pace again. I think that kind of caught us off guard a little bit that he didn't go for the lead in the Belmont. But yeah, I expect him, John, to absolutely be part of the trifecta equation at the end of this race.
I mean, to me, the big question of the Haskell is not will Mindframe win? It's how much has Mindframe matured since the Belmont? Because if he had kept a straight path in the Belmont, he wins by 5.
Oh, he will.
Like, at the top of the stretch, he looked like he was going to absolutely eat the field for lunch. He was in a perfect striking spot, making a big move, but he could not stay straight, and he lost by less than a length. Now he's coming back here. He's worked pretty well. He's had 3 good workouts at Saratoga, including a bullet drill. Still no blinkers on him. Obviously, as we've seen, he has a ton of upside, a ton of potential. And had he been able to stay straight in the Belmont, we'd be licking our lips at the possibility of getting 9-5 on him. He would have been 3-5 or 1-2. And we'd be happy with that because we'd acknowledge that he was much the best in the field. So if he does what he's supposed to do and keeps a straight course, he'll ride off the pace, draw off on the turn, win as much the best. And I think he will take his place. At least, I mean, I don't know if he is yet, but in the mind of most racing fans, he'll ascend to the status of top 3-year-old male in the country. And it would be probably the first time since Devil's Bag back in the mid-'80s that a Maryland bred was a clear-cut top 3-year-old male in the country. Maybe Declan's
as a 3-year-old, right? Yeah, right. Because we had Nick Scott.
So.
Yeah. This is what John just described as the scenario I'm rooting for, where Mindframe gets back to what we saw at Churchill or what we saw at Gulfstream Park his first time out, and he wins by a pole, because it makes the 3-year-old season more interesting, because the only horse in this field that we would feel like, oh crap, it knocked him off of that top 5 type of push would be Dornoch. Right. And that would be it though. And so otherwise he's not really stepping on, I don't know, any of the other horses. Fierceness ain't here. Sierra Leone ain't here. Mystic Dan ain't here. Seize the Gray isn't here. You know, the 2, the Forward Invaders and City of Troy and Forever Young. Thank you. Aren't here. I should have taken TO password, shouldn't I? But yeah, so no, he's not stepping on anyone's claim to the best 3-year-old male. So yes, I'm hoping he wins by a bit.
All right, so we're gonna go on to C Streak. This is the Haskell for me.
I'm a Hasnaw as well, but I'm going to let John talk about this horse. He's much more interested in this horse. Before, by the way, the Pegasus, he's like, he's got a chance. And so he did win that Long Branch. John, what do you think of him now?
I mean, C-Streak, first of all, he's not just Jersey bred, he's Jersey sired. He's by Sea Wizard, who very lightly raced horse, started standing in Jersey about 3-4 years ago, and has gotten off to a fantastic start at stud. I mean, he's quickly become one of the up-and-coming stallions in the Mid-Atlantic region, and it would be pretty neat if a Jersey-bred homebred, who, again, is Jersey sired, did well in the Haskell. I mean, he's kind of Jekyll and Hyde in that he doesn't always turn his best. When he does, he's really impressive. He won the Long Branch 2 starts back, as you said, on May 11th, and did so in a pretty electrifying manner. He came from off the pace, made a nice move up the backstretch, and won by 7 lengths going away, and earned a huge business figure of 96, which put him right in the mix with, at the time, other top 3-year-olds. Went off as the favorite in the Pegasus over Domestic Product and Tuscan Sky, and he got the worst of that weird pace setup. He got caught 5 wide on the first turn. High-low, Rendon couldn't pull him back and get him set off the pace. So he's in the 5 path most of the way. He still hung in there until the top of the stretch when, as any mortal would do, he was done in by his trip and ended up losing by 12 lengths. To me, that's a toss. It's very unlikely that he'll get caught 5 wide again. I don't know if his peak is good enough to beat Mindframe. I think his peak might be good enough to beat anybody else. And I think 20-1 on the morning line, he wins this race, I think, more than 5 times out of 100. And certainly, if you cut that in half, as far as place goes, he certainly comes in second more than 10 times out of 100.
It was very loud in the exotics.
Yeah,
I think so.
I actually don't hate that take at all. Yeah.
Like it.
There you go.
All right,
John. Well, tell people what you're doing these days. I think a lot of people who follow this show know you from the Preakness road shows and from your time with the Maryland Thoroughbred Breeders. But what are you doing now, man?
Yes, I still love Maryland Breds very deeply, and I will be Mindframe's #1 fan on Saturday, both at the windows and in my heart. But I did leave the MHBA back in April. I currently work at Yonkers Raceway, helping keep the world safe for harness racing in the racing office. I am one of the fill-in track announcers, and so you hear me call the races only 2 or 3 times a month. In fact, I'll be calling the races there this coming Tuesday. So if you have nothing else to do on Tuesday night, you can check me out. And I'm still doing Maryland racing analysis every day on theracingbiz.com. So check them out. A great resource for all things Mid-Atlantic racing. I am there on every Maryland race day. And I'm still on Twitter at TheRoff with all my thoughts on Maryland racing, Mid-Atlantic racing, and various nonsense.
There it is.
The beautiful hair.
We love to contribute to the various nonsense.
John, I want to be clear that I'm always checking you out with that hair, baby.
You know what? I'll have to ask folks at Yonkers if they could set up like a little announcer booth cam. That way people can admire the hair like while I'm calling the race.
I agree. It should be a split screen. Who needs to see the horses? I mean, what are we
Especially if
doing?
you can have a fan blowing so that your hair is like blowing in the wind. I love it.
Someone with a big banana leaf just standing off to the side. Let's get Illman to hold the banana leaf.
I
What do
think
you
we
think?
should have like some very
Little
fancy
Illman
looking
banana leaf.
microphone.
Why not? Let's do it.
Yeah, I'll go for it.
Yeah, right. Illman help someone else. How about that?
That's right.
I'm kidding, Dan. All right. Well, thank you, John. We'll talk to you soon, man.
We've gone long. So
Always
we're
a
gonna
pleasure,
get
guys.
out of here.
We're just gonna do the whole thing now.
Was there something else to do?
No.
No,
I wanted to talk about a horse I like at Ellis Park on Sunday.
What? Who's the horse that you like at Ellis Park on?
The Foley trainee in the stakes, Champlin, the 5.
Okay,
That's it. That's all I got. That's race 8 on Sunday at Ellis Park.
so bet on Champlin on Ellis.
I think you're going to
Park
get like
on
5-1 on that horse, and he reminds me a lot of the beginnings of Bango. Not that level, but this is a Greg Foley
Sunday.
classic.
Bango.
Yeah, number 5 on Sunday and the 8th race at Ellis.
All right. Remember to tune in on Saturday,
11 o'clock.
11 a.m. We're gonna be back. Hopefully, we might be on Twitter. I don't know. We're gonna let Zach.
I'll have to pay for that.
We gotta let Zach look into that one.
Yeah.
But we'll be back. Louis and Sean Collins will be
Bloodhorse.com
at Monmouth, and I'll be in the studio at RE Solutions, and so we'll be doing the thing, and hopefully helping you have lots of winners on Saturday. All right, thanks for tuning in. This has been the Horse Racing Happy Hour. We're paying the tab. We're getting out of here. Talk to you later.